What's up guys, and welcome back to On The Brick with another minifig showcase, where today we are going to be looking at what is probably a lot of people's favorite clone trooper, Fives. Pretty much everyone got this, which is great, and all of you made me laugh, which is even better. Unlike pretty much every single figure that I have shown off this year, this one is not printed and is actually decaled. The decals come from avfigures, and it was decaled by Extra Minifigures. If for some reason you do not know who Fives is, I am about to spoil a lot of the Clone Wars. Fives got his name from his designation of CT-5555. Just like all clones, he started as a clone cadet during the early phases of the Clone Wars, and he completed his training on Kamino alongside the rest of his teammates in Domino Squad. As a newly trained soldier, he was stationed in a Republic outpost on the Rishi Moon at the time of a separatist attack. He was only one of 2 survivors and would be recruited into the 501st Legion. After a successful defense of Kamino, he would even move up further, joining the ranks of the ARC Troopers alongside Echo. Fives was there during several key points of the Clone Wars, including the rescue of Jedi General Evan Piel, and was present during the Battle of Umbara. However, Fives' most important role came during an attempt to take Ringo Vinda from the Separatists, where he witnessed the death of Jedi Tiplar after one of his fellow clones seemed to turn mid-battle and execute them. Knowing something was clearly wrong here, Fives began to investigate and ultimately uncovered a conspiracy involving inhibitor chips and a plot to destroy the Jedi. However, unfortunately, most people didn't believe him, and as Fives was attempting to tell Jedi General Anakin Skywalker and his clone Captain Rex, he himself was ultimately hunted down and killed. However, it was not all futile, as his message did make its way to Rex, and subsequently several other clones who would have their chips removed or discover the truth themselves. This is probably one of my favorite figures that I own. Extra did a really good job with decaling this guy, and of course the decals look really good. As you saw, they are 360-degree decals, which is something that I always personally prefer. And I actually have to throw out there, I don't really understand when people say they don't like them because they're not Lego-like, when to me, yeah, that's kind of the point. I personally find authentic Lego figures to be extremely lacking in detail. So a figure like this is exactly why I get into customs. And personally, like I said, I do really enjoy this. There's not too much to talk about when it comes to the actual details of like the clone armor or whatever. It's AV figures, you know it's gonna look good. But of course it does have the specialized design for Fives, and it doesn't look flat. I do really like that. I like how it actually looks like it has some depth to it. And personally, I really enjoy the blue stripes on his legs as well. There is no lack of detail on the arms either. I always love how these are with the wraparound printing on them, and of course the sides of both the torso and the legs also include printing. It really feels like a complete figure. And then of course there's also the back, which like usual there's not much to say back here, but I will say I do enjoy the design on the back of the helmet there. And speaking of the helmet, unfortunately I can't remember who made this particular style of helmet, but I do think it looks really good, and Extra did a fantastic job with decaling it. This honestly looks like it was printed because it's just that good. It's almost perfect in fact, and I honestly really love it. I've always loved the design of Fives' helmet, and seeing it like this just looks really cool. One thing though is it should come with one of those like side antennas or rangefinders, and I just don't have one for this guy, but it's not that big of a deal. One thing I do have, however, is this custom printed head for Fives with the tattoo of a 5 on his head, of course. Even though the helmet stays on most of the time, these extra little details do really go a long way for me, and it just, again, feels like a really complete figure, which is why he is one of my favorites. This did not come with a figure though, I had to buy it separately. I believe I bought it from Star Wars Fanatics, but Minifig Madness also sells a ton of these. And then there are these cloths that come from the Cape Cantina. While I do think that they really help complete this figure, unfortunately, the top pauldron just doesn't stay down, and that's a consistent problem that I have with Cape Cantina's cloths. From the front here, it doesn't look bad, but if I turn it to the side, you can see just how much it's sticking up, and that's something that kind of irritates me. It might not you, which is totally fine, but I have spent an actual good amount of time trying to get this to stay down and be flush, but it always finds its way back up. Now, I don't want to take away from the Cape Cantina because they do have some awesome things, but that is one thing that I wish we could figure out how to fix. Overall, if you're into decaling, this is definitely a guy that's worth your time, and if you're not into decaling but still like it, several people do have commissions for him, or you can always just get a printed version from Clone Army Customs or something. Next week, we are going to be looking at my favorite character in an outfit she literally only wore one time, and it's kind of weird, to be honest. But hey, someone made the figure, so I bought it. Please do let me know what your guesses are in the comments down below and your thoughts on this figure. Remember to subscribe if you would like to see more and hit that like button as it helps a lot. I'm messing all this up, whatever. I'd also really appreciate it if you checked out my Patreon, where for only $1 a month you can go a long way towards helping make more videos possible and get shoutouts like Jonathan and Project Elements. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.